Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to video number 2 in my saltwater tank trial or attempt. My second attempt at a saltwater aquarium. So here we go. So it's been about I set up. I would put in the live rock and the live sand into my saltwater aquarium back on Tuesday. So today is Saturday. So that's about 4 or 5 days since I've had the live rock and the live sand. Well, I mean, I guess I consider them live rock and sand in that, I got them pretty fresh. So let's just put it that way. And then the aquarium water, again, I got it from free salt water from the Pacific Ocean. So hopefully the rock and the sand already has nitrifying bacteria already in it for the cycling process, for the breakdown of the ammonia into nitrite and nitrates. So yeah, so I'm using again live rock and live sand. I recycled a lot of the rocks that I've had from my previous aquarium, and same thing with the sand. And some sand I got fresh. So and the salt water again is I got it pretty much straight from the Pacific Ocean. So from a clean source. So here you go. So this is about 4 or 5 days since I added the rock and the salt water. As you can see, the light looks pretty decent for an LED that came with the stand, the tank, the Aqueon bow front system. So it looks like the lighting is not bad. And I've reused. Okay, so to go over what I have so far, I've reused the Max Spec Gyri pump here in the corner. I've just cleaned it up a little bit, but I guess it has looks like a little bit of I don't know if it's dust on there or something, but I cleaned it before I set it up, and I have it on the minimum. It's like 10%, 10% forward, alternating 10% reverse. So right now you can see it's probably in reverse mode right now. So that's the Max Spec Gyri that I've saved from my previous tank. And then the other thing that I added on, that I purchased, was the to make my life easier, was the Toons osmolator, the auto top off right there in the corner. So that's how I set that up. Pretty easy to set up. And I have the hose for the RODI water pointed downward, with the tip of the nozzle clearly above the water line to prevent backflow, siphoning, the siphoning effect. So I have that above the water line. I have the backup sensor and the optical sensor hooked up together in one configuration, the original configuration that's in the instructions. You could have the you could have the backup sensor there with a separate magnet somewhere else. But I've done those two together. I've done it in the main display tank because I don't have a sump. So I've removed the backing right here, and here, in the back of the hood. So just so I could add on all of these things. So yeah, so I really like this Toonsy osmolator. I think it has switched on once or twice so far, not that often, and it seems to work perfectly fine, and it's really easy. It was not bad. I set it up like within reading the instructions from like not knowing anything about it, to setting everything up and adjusting it a little bit, especially the placement of the tube, the placement of the sensor. Took me about an hour altogether, I would say. And also reading the manual. So yeah, I'm that kind of guy. I like to read manuals and get into all that kind of stuff. So it took me about an hour. And there's the cord there for the optical sensor and cord for the backup sensor here. And I have it going down into the controller, which I just tacked onto the side. So there we go. Yeah, you can always buy more Velcro strips if you wanted to move it. So there it is right there. So right now it's at the level, the water level is I guess at the appropriate height. But there's a lot of other videos on how to set it up and the use of the osmolator. But just so far for me, it's worked really well. It's only been 4 days, but I really like it because it's I don't have to worry about topping it off or keeping track of where it was. I did put blue lines so I would have an idea of where the water level was, so I could kind of gauge to see how accurate it was. But I noticed when I added some stuff and the water level changed, the pump did kick in. So it seemed to have been working really great. And on the bottom here, I have the wires going into a bucket, a small 3.5 gallon bucket. I think it's a 3.5 gallon. I cut a hole in it, and there it is. Oh, it's kind of dark, sorry. But on the bottom of that bucket there is the pump, and with the controller and the tubing. So, and the RODI water. So there you go. Okay, so to prevent evaporation, I'm gonna put the lid on. Since we're down here, that's the controller for the max spec gyri. My power strip, I just used a regular power strip. I originally ordered a fancy Wi-Fi power strip with the ability to turn individual switches on and off. But again, to save money, I just went with a regular power strip. I just have it up on a box, something super ghetto. It's just to prevent it from getting problems with water in case there's leakage. But I don't anticipate any leakage problems like that. Well, yeah. So far, this is all working out pretty well. I forgot what I was gonna say. So far, that controller is working well with the max spec gyri, and the osmolator, the Tunzi osmolator is working good. The other thing that I set up here, as you can see in the back, I have a hang-on back filter. Now I know people are probably gonna say that it's I don't know if people are good with that or what, but I went with that. The reason why I chose that, the reason why I chose the Tunzi osmolator was because I wanted an auto top-off system, because that is something that you need to do in any aquarium, I would think. Something you need to, all aquariums have some kind of evaporation. So adding RODI water into a saltwater aquarium is part of regular maintenance. You can't, even if you have a tank that's supposedly zero maintenance, you still have to add water, I would think. Evaporation occurs in any tank, no matter if you have a really complex system with all kinds of equipment, or you have one of those ultra low maintenance or no maintenance aquariums. You still need to add RODI water. There's going to be some evaporation. So that's why I got the auto top off, to help me with that, and to automate the process. So to make it easier. So that's why I got that. And of course a circulating pump, because I want to circulate water to prevent detritus buildup and to keep just everything well circulated in the tank. And the product back there, the hang-on filter I got, is the Seachem, the Seachem Power Filter 55 hang-on back filter. So I was looking online for different kinds of filters, and I was looking at canister filters. I wanted to stay away from a sump, that was for sure this time around. So I was looking at canister filters, and I was looking at hang-on filters, and because of the ease of setting this one up, and because of the features of it, I decided to go with the hang-on back. If you look at it compared to the size of the tank, it looks really big, but actually the large part of it is actually hanging out the back of the tank. So it just looks, I don't have any backing paper. My wife suggested that I don't put any, so I say, yeah, okay, so we'll see how it goes, because I can always easily add it on later, but it does make the tank, I guess, look a little bigger. I don't know, but anyway, so that's why I don't have any backing on it. But if you look at the side here, you can see that a large portion of it is hanging out the back, whereas the one that's actually in the tank itself is just that front portion right around there where the submerged pump is. There. So it's a Seachem pump that's in it, so it's a pretty high quality pump. I think made in Germany, I think. So Seachem, I think, is one of the pump manufacturers, along with Seachem and I forgot the other company, but those are pretty well-known pumps. So, and the good thing, well, again, the reason why I chose this hang-on back filter was because of ease of installation and the features that it has. So it has a submerged pump. So the pump actually is in that housing right there. So it always, as long as the water level doesn't drop, which I don't anticipate it shouldn't, as long as the water level doesn't drop below that wavy line right there is the minimum. Where's my? The wavy line right there is the minimum water level. So I don't anticipate it going anywhere near that. So as long as the water level doesn't drop below there, the pump will function fine. Max level for the water, according to the manual, it's recommended not to be higher than the top of the skimming intake right there. So right now you can see it's about halfway. You know, it's about, yeah, it's about, I guess about half. You can't really see that well, but it's about, yeah, it's probably about halfway, I think. The water level there. Yeah, so there's a large part of it that's underwater and then some that's above. So, but technically, according to the manual, it should be no higher than this right here at the top of the skimming intake. Again, oh sorry, going back to the features. So yeah, besides the self-priming, you know, the pump, the location of the pump, which makes startup really easy. You don't have to prime it or anything. It'll just automatically work if the power goes off and comes back on again. Chances of it damaging the pump because of running dry is very low. Well, you know, unless the water in the whole tank goes below that line. The other thing too is that the intake is there. You can adjust it. It's telescoping, up and down, adjustable. And that blue dial right there, you can turn it. Although there's no real indication to say which way, but you can just kind of keep an eye on it and see where the water is flowing, and you can follow the air bubbles or whatever. And you can see if the water's been intake is going in through the bottom or through the surface skimming intake right there. So you can adjust how much water is being sucked in through the bottom versus the surface skimmer. So that's the other good feature too, is that it does have a surface skimmer. Because I noticed in a saltwater tank, in my saltwater tanks, there's a lot of, you know, sometimes there's foam or detritus or other kinds of material on the top of the water. So when I first set it up, before I installed the filter, there was a lot of material stuck on the surface of the water. But now you can see it's pretty clear. See, there's really nothing on the top of the water, just a little air bubbles. Now, so yeah, so that's the other good part about this filter that I like, is that there's the intake there, and then the skimming intake to help skim the surface of the water. There's a holder for the heater, but you know, I live in Hawaii, so far the water tank has never gotten, if anything, it's gotten a little bit too warm rather than being cold, so I don't have a heater installed at all. And let's see, going on the front, you can see that there are air bubbles coming out, but that's because of the level of the water. I think that if it doesn't really bother me, I think there's some aeration and disturbance in the water, surface of the water, so it doesn't really bother me at all. And the noise that it makes is really quiet. I don't know if you can hear it, but basically I have it near the refrigerator in my kitchen. Well, not near, but you know, it's away from the refrigerator, but I can hear the refrigerator more than I can hear the trickling from this water and the pump. So that's just to give you an idea of how quiet it is. So, but if the trickling of the water bothers you, or if the you know, that air bubble, you could always just I would think you could just simply raise the water level in your aquarium. But for me, that it would require me to adjust the Tunzi up higher, so that I could add more salt water, and this will still keep it work effectively. So right now, because of the border I have on the what you call this plastic, it doesn't really go up that high. It could go up higher. It could go up to this lip right here, but right now I think I have it set up pretty good. I don't mind that fall off. I think it provides, you know, a little bit of aeration and surface disturbance, you know, so the bubbles don't really bother me right now. Maybe in the future, if it does, I might decide to raise the auto top off and raise the water levels to decrease the the waterfall effect. Yeah, but right now it's okay for me right now. And this dial right here controls the flow, how fast the how fast the water flow is, so you could control. So it actually goes pretty fast, but I think I have it tuned down pretty low right now. This is not the lowest. This is more, maybe I would say like 25%, maybe approximately. This thing right here is an indicator that I'll lift up the lid here. Sorry, this thing right here is just an indicator for I'll have to clean this up, for to say when the filter is getting clogged up, because what happens is the water will bypass the filter system, I guess, somehow, and go in here and then push this indicator up, so that way you know it's time to clean your filter. So what I have in there, there's a basket that you can take out. This is simply to secure the holder so it doesn't float away. You push this back, release those tabs, and then pull out the carrier. And right now I have the product that came with the filter from Seachem. It's the Seachem Matrix. It's I think it's some sort of rock. I forgot what kind of rock it was. But it has a supposedly small to medium hole size, I think, for biological filtration. Provides surface area for nitrifying bacteria, and I guess supposedly, from what I read on the website, denitrifying bacteria deep within it too. And of course, I was thinking that because of the water flow, it should be in an area of low water flow. But actually, Seachem makes another product for low water flow areas to to promote denitrifying bacteria. But for this, because it's in an obviously high flow area, the product that's recommended, and the recommended use of the Matrix, is in a higher flow area. And according to a website, from what I read, it does have, or it could have the potential to even though it's in a higher flow area, I guess, because I'm not sure if it's just the design of the Matrix, but it should have a denitrifying effect also. Yeah, even though it's in a high flow area. So I guess that's one another thing I'll check out to see is if this Matrix, I guess, or if the setup that I have, if it here, this thing also has a ability to house the basket there, so you don't drip water all over your floors when you're changing it. So that's another kind of good convenient feature. So and then it's it feels really good. I like it. It feels really sturdy. And then goes on there, and then there's also a lock in the back there. I can't really get my camera back there, but it's right there, the blue thing that keeps it pretty sturdy onto the glass. Your width of your frame here, and then your glass, so it keeps it steady. So yeah, so those features I like about it. I can add on any kind of media. I ordered charcoal. I think I forgot what it was called. It was a charcoal that was already in a bag, and it's you could drop it in there, and it says it lasts like 3 to 6 months. So you drop it in there, provides chemical filtration. So I think for my system, I'm gonna go for the Matrix, because it came with the system. So I'm just gonna try and use it. There's a mechanical filter, which is just simply a sponge. It's not really small. It's pretty big, but it'll provide some mechanical filtration. And then the order that's recommended online on the Seachem website is that it should have the mechanical filter on the bottom, and the next one should be the chemical, which is the charcoal, and then the last should be the biological, which will be the Matrix. So I believe that's the order that I remember reading. So that as soon as the charcoal comes in, the charcoal bag filter, I'm gonna add that below the Matrix, above the mechanical filter. And from my understanding, the Matrix doesn't need to be, it's you can use it indefinitely. You just need to maybe once in a while, rinse it off to make sure that the holes don't get plugged up with too much detritus. But I guess the thing about that is that you don't want to rinse it off too well or scrub it down or anything, because then you're getting rid of a lot of the bacteria that's already built up on it. Of course, there's bacteria that are probably residing within the medium anyways. So, but I think that you probably don't want to go too crazy with the cleaning of the Matrix. Just because of the beneficial bacteria that's on there, so we'll see how that works out. And so as you can see, it's been about since Tuesday. So overall, my saltwater and rocks have been in there since Tuesday. I've just added on the Seachem hang on back filter and the Tunzi osmolator auto top off yesterday, Friday. So it's been about 4 or 5 days, and there's been no signs of algae. I haven't tested my water parameters at all. So my next step is I think I'll probably wait another day, or what I might do right. Oh, sorry, this is the other things I got here. I got a thermometer. So as you can because you can see right now it's late April, so the temperature is hovering on the higher end of what's acceptable. I'm not sure. Hopefully that thermometer is accurate. And I got the float magnet cleaner there. So hopefully that temperature will keep an eye on my temperature accurately. And if it does get too warm, or if I see problems with the temperature, what I'll do is get a fan and probably install the fan maybe around here, or yeah, pretty much in here. I would think right here, to try and blow air to get more evaporation. With the auto top off, I'm not too worried, because I just have to add more water in the reservoir. And so my next plan is to continue cycling my aquarium. I haven't seen any kind of algae outbreak at all. There's some that's on the rock, but again, I think that's leftover from the last time I did this system. So I recycled the rock. So yeah, I didn't see any kind of diatom bloom or anything like that so far in the last 4 or 5 days. And of course, I haven't done anything. I haven't added any organics, anything to assist with the cycling. But that's basically my next step. I'm gonna try and do this again. I want to make this as low maintenance as possible, and simple to operate, so I don't have to be overwhelmed with it, and take more time and have more time to enjoy my tank, rather than number one, spending a lot of time on it, and number two, spending a lot of money on it. So that's my so that's, I guess, now my updated goals is to make it easy to maintain. So I will maintain it on a regular basis, and also keep the cost down, because I don't want to spend a lot of money in this hobby. So yeah, so those are my goals now, I think. And yeah, thank you for watching the second update. So my next step again will be to add on to continue the cycling process. It's been about day 4, day 5 right now. I'm gonna test my water parameters. I haven't tested ammonia yet. I have no fish in there, no cleanup crew, nothing, just sand, rocks, and salt water, and those the equipment that I discussed already. And my next step, continue, I guess, in this state maybe, and I'll probably add on. I didn't even add any kind of bacterial additives, since I have live rock and live sand, and then fresh salt water from the ocean. Hopefully they have naturally whatever bacteria they need for denitrification. For nitrification. And also, hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, the rock and the sand bed and the matrix filter media will provide denitrification also, so that I don't have to do water changes or very minimal water changes. And also that I don't have to do any kind of complex carbon dosing, or nitrate reactors, or biopellets, or any number of 100 ways of reducing nitrates. I'll try to go natural. I don't know if that'll even work out, or how that'll work out, but that's my eventual goal, to see if it can maintain itself without me doing any water changes, or very minimal, or just to see what I can accomplish. Okay, thank you. So again, my next step, I will add on a little bit of food. I'll give another update when I do add food in, and I start testing ammonia levels, and I start testing nitrite and nitrate levels, and see any changes in algae growth in my tank. Okay, thank you again for watching video number 2.